Right, guys, welcome back to our training. As you guys can see, I have already posted some materials or resources, rather than say, in our Google Classroom. You can pick up all those materials. You're free to use these materials. Yeah, these are also from the internet by itself. Right, this is just for the practice sake. You can use those materials that is given to you guys, and also some tutorials for you to look at if you have some ideas of how to blend those tutorials and make your own posters accordingly. Right, and then we can look into doing a little cinemagraph by adding into the timeline. How do you want to make a simple motion to the poster. Right, now we're not going to look at very extensive stuff, but very simple, and don't want to have multiple components in our poster. Right, the previous classes that we did was we have already covered how to superimpose those images into the uh, your posters. You want to plan it out, and today I'm going to just repeat back again a little bit of stuff and then recap back what we have done previously, and going to utilize those knowledges and practices that we have done back into our movie poster. Right, so without further ado, let's start. Okay, before we start our Photoshop tutorial, just a little bit. Okay, so when you start a poster, there are a couple of posters out there. It is not necessary to have this specific template by itself, but this can be a starting point. So the key things that you have to look at into your poster, your movie poster. Okay, you've got the title, you've got the credits, yeah, who is who did this, who produced it, who's the director, and so on. Yeah, so you don't need to type all this. All this is given at the bottom here. Okay, so you've got the title, you've got the tagline. Tagline can be "The Man on Fire," truth can be lies, or damsel in distress, and so on and so forth can be added on to the tagline. So it is completely up to you. All right, and then you've got all the surnames or names, surnames, and so is those actors or the stars that is in the movie by itself. Okay, so this is given for you guys to look at or refer to as a reference point of how do you want to plan out your layout design. As you can see, the title should be bigger, followed by the those selling components like the actor's name. Yeah, the tagline normally will be tiny. Yeah, it's just to support the title. Yeah, and it's a film by whom. Right, and if it is produced by, say for instance, Disney or Paramount or DreamWorks or anything like that, it will be shown at the end credit here. All right, so you got the sponsor logos and so on, because they will be the one who will be paying you. So this is a little bit, I'm not going to go super in depth with this, but just to give you an idea of how the poster will look like and how do you want to sell any ideas that you have in the future. All right, so again, apart from that is the awards. This is the award section. The award section is where it will just to sell your proposal or your title or your movie poster by itself. When you have those awards, that can be something that to attract the viewers to come and watch your. Okay, so in our case we don't really need an award, but if you want, you can just put Karipap awards or donut awards or some other awards out here. Just have fun. Yeah, and then title, just make up your own title. It can be an existing title, it can be your game title if you play a lot of games, the sniper, the destroyer, something like that. It doesn't need to be destroyer, it can be this name, Ali, uh, you know uh, Jane or something like that. Any title that you can think of that is going to have fun with. All right, so those are the three, I mean these are the breakdowns of a poster. So I've also given you the end credit. So this is where you can, you can just take this and paste it over your posters. Okay, so you can utilize this, or if you want to find some other write-ups like this, you can just type in movie end credit, then you can just get this material from internet by itself. Okay. Okay. Hello. Yeah, it's called a footer though. Yeah, so you can just type in a footer. Right, those are things that is given to you guys. Whether you want to use it or not, it's completely in your hands. Okay, so yeah, that is that. I've given you some effects that you can use, some images, PNG images of characters from, this is from PUBG, this is from yeah, Tom Clancy Division, something, yeah, Ghost Recon. Yeah, you got so many other PNGs outside that you can use your own, soldiers, whomever that you want to use, you can utilize it as long as it's as creative as it can be. It can be your own picture and so on, right? So that's it. With all these materials given to you guys, you can use the backgrounds. How do you want to put in the backgrounds? How do you want to put some attach some images? How creative you want to be? It is completely up to you. There's another convention as well here. The image will be in the center, the actor's name, it can be top, so you can shuffle it. You can put the actor's name right on top, you can put the actor's name below the title. Yeah, you can put the at the bottom of the poster, so it is completely up to you. So the release date is another one that is to sell when, or to attract the viewers, to build curiosity, actually a roadmap they call it, right? So tagline is there, film title is there, name and actors, production cast, which is a footer, yeah, and so on. Okay, so these are simple things that you can look at, and yeah, there are other posters here, samples, like as you can see, Saving Private Ryan. It's not too much too complex, right? Keeping it very simple, like you see No Country for Old Men, where you can see just two main characters, yeah, the antagonist and the protagonist. So those two characters is the one that is commonly in this drama fight movie, as in for the Saving Private Ryan as well. There's a little drama there, but this four characters is a band of brothers that's there, and so on, who's the main cast, which is Tom Hanks, is showcased. All right, so keep it as simple as this, and you can also look at Avengers if you want to. Again, these are the samples of the layout design that they use for this movies. Okay, so the backgrounds, as you can see the backgrounds here. You can utilize this background, you can superimpose this, you can make this into a good nice background and color correct it, and done. Right, then what we can do is, with this particular standard size for this, we are going to just use an A4 size, right? So normally it will go up to A3, yeah, that is A3, depending whether if you're going to do it for a billboard, it is much more higher. Obviously the requirement for your space and your machine needs to be higher. All right, so you have to be careful with that. For now, for practices that we are going to work with, is an A4 that is sufficient for you guys, as well as for your assignments that you're going to do now. Once you're coming up to the industry, like after your uni or college, and you have finished already, then we are looking into a bigger, a different workflow, which will be much more high end advanced. All right, till then, just practice this, just have a fun, give it a go, have some fun, right? And then play around with all this. Okay, so saying that, this with the resources that I have, I've just planned, just even place some images here as a collage to begin with, yeah, As you can see, this is the background has been thrown in for this PUBG character. Yeah, so you can either go with super straightforward poster as such. It's very simple. Yeah, you can throw these posters here. I've also put in some splats, right? As you can see, some splats on the characters. The characters is here. You can go into, I'll just post it here, clean this cleanpng.com. Yeah, so you guys can get into here as well to get pngs from this section, this website here, right? It's quite useful, right? It's quite yeah, it's quite clean actually. The link is given, so you guys can get in here and get some images. This has been downloaded from png. Even the dust that has been brought in is from png, right? So you can see here there's some little dust, that are dirt or some sort like a mafia. I'm just gonna hit okay. I'm just gonna hit normal. A splat like that is given in this poster. So before we do any sort of adjustments on this image, and so what you can do is say for instance you want to have a little bloody and gory on this image. First and foremost, you just want to lay out how it is going to be as a whole, right? Normally what I'll do is I'll just place the image that I'm working with. I'm just going to do a simple block out. I would say place it where it's supposed to be. The effects is just there to see, later to be adjusted accordingly, because some effects here it may not work. You just may need just a little bit of splat like this, so you don't really need the entire effect, just a little bit. That can be adjusted later. All these tiny little effects like pyros and all that will come in later. So first and foremost, pick a nice background. Okay, so if you have background behind here, find a nice background that sells sells the entire story. Say for instance he's into this background here with a motel, or you want to showcase the whole cyberpunkish feel of the image, where the image is kind of like compositing really well. You just have to place it as such. Okay, the poster can be portrait, it can be landscape. Normally it is in poster, yeah, in portrait format. All right, so portrait format means it's elongated. All right, elongated vertically, not landscape. Landscape is elongated horizontally. All right. Okay, so this is the very bare minimum of poster style that you can work with. All right, so when you see this, you are like, okay, cool. I just place the image. It's not bad, right? It is there telling me a story, right? Then number two, once you have finished this is a block out. You can either group it. Okay, I'll just group it, block, name it as block 01. Right, later we can get in and adjust the placement of this, right? And now we start adding in the title, right? So click on the text here, and normal text, look for a nice text, just tap in here, say the battle. Bam. Okay, so once you're happy with this, the battle, just drag, drop it, see where the title is going to fit in, double click on this, change the color maybe to white perhaps, or something that is going to be striking out a little bit, right? So for now, just make sure that you can read. How you want to add effects and how do you want to amend this will come later. Okay, so once you have already added in, drag it. Okay, before you do anything else, yeah, so you just, to be more precise, you want to have a little bit of breathing space. Control R or Command R. Okay, you get this ruler. If you don't see this ruler, go to View or Windows, and then look for ruler. Tap on the ruler. Okay, So here, where's the ruler? Okay, ruler is missing from my eyes. If you can't see the ruler, it is control R actually, yeah. So control R or command R, R for rabbit, yeah. The moment you tap that, you will see the ruler coming in, right? And then when the ruler is here, control R, control or command R. You see these numbers here, the ruler is popping. Have that drag with the move tool, yeah, drag from the numbers here, drag it down and just give a little bit of bleeding space, right? This is for bleeding space is when you print. Okay, remember this whenever that you guys are printing in the future, yeah, whenever you have anything that you want to paste it on your uh, you know, your boards or bulletin boards and so on, you may need to have this bleeding space. So when you print, this place here sometimes will be the most affected areas with ink bleeds. Okay, remember that, so when you have a little bit, say for instance, here I'm looking at inches, yeah, millimeters, sorry. So say for instance you're looking at 0.5 or 5 millimeters sort of, yeah. So this is where it will give you a little bit of safe zones, right? Safe zones, which means whenever that you print, it would not bleed out, or these areas that you have as a say, I mean the sections where it is at the edges, even though it is bleeding or if there is a little smudge on the area, it does not disturb your main content, right? So just put that in mind, so you have something there as a guide. So if there is a space, a safe area which is within this box here, now you can adjust or you can choose by holding control or command, tap on the layers, or you can just hold control or command, right click and look for which image that you want to choose or layers that you want to choose. Just come in here, just drop down the group not the group folder, find the image or the layer that you want to move and move it a little inside so that you can get a better composition, right? So see which areas that needs to be adjusted or which can be a little smudge or which one cannot be smudged, right? I have also covered about rules of thirds and so you can look at rules of thirds, how do you want to place it and so on. It's completely up to you. So keep it as simple as this. So you've got the title, all right? The title is here. Next is the tagline, yeah. So you come in here, drag it, tagline, battle are only the best. Thanks. This is a worst tagline, but anyways, I'm just going to just type it as such, yeah. I'm going to just type in here and look for font size which is a little bit more smaller, right? So here I can go into 14, yeah, 14 or 18 points, yeah. When it's just a tagline, it's just very tiny, okay. So either you can have it right on top or with the best win or wins or something like that. You can have the title right in the middle, so it is completely up to you, okay. The rule is, right, if you were to put a tagline right on top, if it's very strong, yeah, you can shuffle it. There is no such thing as you have to follow a specific template by itself. You just have to understand, okay, there is a simple template there. How do I want to shuffle it? It depends on how much or how do I place those information within that poster. All right. So if you want to make it a little closer, you can make it a little closer, or you can clump it one to another. So this is what we call as information design and layout design. All right. So a layout design or an information design that you want to attach to this poster needs to be clearly read. All right. If the viewers able to read what it is, all right, what is the title is all about, all right, and then followed by the hierarchies they call it, right? So the title can be placed right on top depending how you want to highlight those components within your poster. So you have this, the battle, and now only the best wins. I'm just going to place it right in the middle here. So if you're happy with this placement, you can have it as such, and then you can drag in. I'm going to just drag in the footer, drag and drop it inside here. Boom, press enter, and I'm just going to go in and um, say overlay, or you have to look for a blending option. Yeah, give me a second. Let's go in, look for a good blending option here. Maybe it can be the reverse because it is white and black. So if you were to overlay, it becomes like this. So what you can do is you can tap on this and then control I, so it will change the colors, yeah, to white, something like this. And you can get into control L or command L, and you can highlight the white colors a bit more. Okay, adjust it accordingly, and you can see the colors popping up right now. Okay, you come in here, you see, ta-da, this is what you get. Okay, so now it is all about how do you want to adjust it. So it can be soft light, overlay, you can see here if it's overlay or hard light. Even if it's a multiply, you cannot lah, yeah, because when it's black then it all becomes black. Okay, so adjust it accordingly. Normally screen, anything that is white, if you want it to be highlighted, then it's screen. Yeah, go in here, tap on the levels, right, adjust those black colors accordingly, yeah, and change the black color to something else. Okay, so you can adjust accordingly how you want it to look. Okay, you can drop the black color, or you can just type in however you want, right? So this is how you want to adjust. Okay, so as you can see, you get a nice footer here. Not that actually, right? It is clearly stating the the cars and so on and so forth, right? The dates can be adjusted accordingly. So this is just to get the indication of how the whole layout is going to be. And say this is a footer, then you can just tap in on the layer here, name it as footer, yeah, and then don't forget to save it. Yeah, save this file, right? Second, poster from movie. Okay, constantly save this so that it's all saved. So you can hide this, right? Or you can lock this. You can think about the title. So the title can be right in the middle, and so you can have that. You can even drag this to the bottom, that, bring the title right on top. It works vice versa. Okay, so when you're looking at this poster, number one, before we look at all those colors and so, you want to look at the layout. Okay, before we do anything, you want to see how much of eye-rest that you want to have within a layout, right? A poster. So if everything is super cluttered, right? If you see below here, right, the line from here onwards, the midline up to where the character is to the footer, it is too cluttered that it becomes extremely congested. So when there is too much of things or too much of information cluttered as such, then it becomes a little bit more choking. All right. So in order for you to kill that, this is where you have to look at a little bit of adjustments or little bit of arrangement that you want to play with your layout design. So this is normally what I'll do is, if anything that is heavy right on top here, okay, I give a little bit of space here. This depends. I'm not going to go very stringent with the the value or value of this the value of this particular size, yeah, for that particular section. Yeah, I'm just going to approximately do it so that it's just nice for us. Yeah? So I'm just going to block it in this manner. I'm going to clump the title and the tagline together. Right, I'm going to give a little eye rest, which means a little space for the eye to rest. Okay, not to have too many things, because the what they call the focus is going to be on this particular player, or which is the image here of this hero here. I can have another one more hero coming in. We can have another hero at the back as a villain. So it is a battle between the this particular hero against another hero and so on. It is that's how you want to plan it. Okay, and then I'm going to see how the bottom section is going to be heavier as opposed to the top. All right, how is it sitting and how is it deciding? So as you can see here, there is two nice balance, approximate size for the top and bottom, and the center component where you can just chuck your image. Right, so here we can bring in, now we can come in and adjust the character accordingly. Right, whether you want to resize, Control T, you can resize this character as big as you want, or you can add in more components to this. Okay, so as you can see, you can even throw in like this. Okay, if the view is a bit more distracted at this point of time, what you can do is go to view. You can either go to show, you can off this guides. See that? Okay, so go to view, show, guides. Okay, so when you hit on guides, then the guides will come back if you want to maintain the guides. Okay, if you don't want these guides, you can come in, you can hit on this show guides, just check on it again, so it hides. Okay, so you can see it is not too what they call too cluttered. As you can see, it's all centered. Okay, the character is right in the middle, the text is right in the middle, the title, the tagline, the footer. If you want to have the awards, if there is any, you can put it on both sides, so everything is centric. Okay, so this is block 1. If I'm going to hit Control J, right, I'll do another copy and I'll name it as block 2. Bam. Okay, so if you have a block 2, and this is where you can add another one more. Okay, before we do that, let me just give you another sample. Yeah, a little bit on this. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add on files. Let me just tap on this. Object. So, sorry. Come in here. See this new artboard? The moment you hit a new artboard, you can name it as something else. Okay, so when there is new artboard, which means an artboard is multiple pages that you can create, right? So if I were to do control and just drag to a new layer like this, now a new poster has been created, right? So with the new artboard, with the move tool, control and just drag, make sure you're on the artboard again. So let me just show you guys. Okay, again, If you come in here, click on this drop down menus here, the hamburger button, right, go in, look for new artboard. All right, hit on new artboard. Now the artboard option will appear. You can just name it as 01. Okay, 01, and then make sure you're on the 01 highlighted on the layer. Hold control, sorry, hold alternate and drag it. Okay, hold alternate and drag it over to another new artboard, and now you have two options side by side, right? So you can work on multiple artboards. Is like multiple pages, or art blocks. When you play with art blocks or any A4 papers, so you can have multiple papers. Okay, so in here you can have 2 or 3 different types of layouts that you want to work with. So say this is number 2, name it as 02, right? Hide this number 1. You can even go to this eye option here, the visibility, right click on it, you can make it into, or you can label it as orange, so you work with artboard number 1. Right now you are looking at artboard number 2. Everything is green, everything is okay, clear. So in here, if you want to change, okay, now let's look at second artboard. Right, so you look at the battle, so now we can change. I want to have the tagline around the top, maybe this what they call the battle here, maybe I want to have it right at the bottom or right in the middle. Okay, so you can adjust it in this manner, and then you can look into the characters. Okay, you can have this character really big. Perhaps this time you want to have it superimposed, or you want to have those images to come in. Yeah, normally the footer will be here. Yeah, it's just that difference is how you want to make your what they call, place your images accordingly, right? So if the battle is around here, that means it can be either a soft light, or you can even use this, tap on this by holding control and tap on the thumbnail and make this as a mask. See that? You can do that, or you can tap on this and make this as a mask for those dudes, right? So battle is there, or you can even have another mask right on top here, and so on and so forth. You can do wonders with this. You all know how to do the mask, so you can play with this, right? So anyways, the battle is going to be around here. How do you want to superimpose in this? It's completely up to you. So maybe for this you want to make it slightly bigger. You can go to the properties, you can increase the size, or you can just double click on this font here, or go to characters. You can increase this to maybe 100. Bam, so you got this. And this time I arrange my fonts together like this, right? And now you can see in the characters, I've already covered this previously. Okay, in the character window, or you go to Windows, characters, yeah, in this character you've got an option how much of its distance is going to be between two sentence. Yeah, it's called leading. So whether it's going to be quite close up, as you can, if you just drag this further, it'll kind of like mix, or you kind of attach it quite closely. Yeah, you can do that. You can increase the size, make sure everything is highlighted. How do you highlight? It's just using your left mouse button. Make sure you highlight like this, everything is highlighted. You can change the colors if you want to. Yeah, the battle, maybe red, pink, it's completely up to you. Yeah, so see which components is suitable, right? You can even have those tags to be adjusted accordingly. What's the point of art? Okay, I'll answer that shortly. Yeah, so this D, yeah, if you want to make it closer, so you can bring in the running a little bit, right? If you hover your mouse on each and every options here, it will tell you how much of what is it, what does it mean. So like this is tracking, this one was reading, this one is a font size, this one is a kerning. Kerning is between two characters. Yeah, two characters means one alphabet is called a character, right? So for here tracking is where I can have D further away and so on. Okay, and then I can even push this apart. All right, the battle can be separated. I can even backspace this or press an E, go in here, maybe I will bring the battle right in between. So it's all about balancing. Yeah, so it totally depends how do you guys want to play with this. Okay, so you can place it wherever you want, whichever possible manner. Okay, the battle can be right at the bottom here, and you can also have something in between here, or you can even have it superimposed later on. Okay, how you want to add the details in between, like the drop shadows or shine, so it is completely up to you, but do that after you are happy or you have the options all set properly. Got it? So only the best wins can be right on top. Okay, you can even add like the names, say John, right? You can make it slightly bigger, about 36 points, so that somebody's name is there, the artist's name is there. Maybe I'll look at 24, right? Not too big. Okay, John, Don, Son, and Don. John, Don, Son, Don. Okay, these are the actors that you have. So you can either link it together. Yeah, if you want to link it together, you can just link it by tapping or highlighting all those layers and tapping on this link button here, the chain icon. So it's linked. So next time when you just move one, everything moves together. Okay, so those are the names of the actors, and then you've got the uh, only the best win as a sub, right? You can even have it right at the bottom here. Okay, and so making sense, or you can even do in between, right? So it totally depends on how do you want to play with the layouts. Okay, so I'll leave it to you guys, see which wins. Okay, so this is one way of doing, and the battle can be increasing. Now you see these two layers is proper. Okay, so Mr. John Don Doe, you can drag it in and see how it goes. Okay, once you're happy, see this is what you have, right? So again, one is for the text to go in, another one is the image by itself, right? The photo manipulation or the poster by itself. Okay, in the poster, once you finish where the placement of the title, your taglines and the footer, and the stars and so on, Once you're happy with that, then you adjust or you balance it. So which means if this character is looking towards the side, or there is too much of heavy components at your on your right hand side of the poster, that means you have to have something on your left. All right. And how do you want to bring in the attention? Number one is to look at how the lighting is going to be, right? Whether the background and the foreground or the character is it syncing. So if let's say in this particular image here, I change the image, I want to have something like this. So when you look at this image, it may not fit the character, right? The realm is completely different. Maybe it doesn't suit. So how the color is not embedding properly as opposed to the first poster. Okay, so this is where it comes in. You have to have the photo manipulation, or you can do the image adjustments like how we did previously, right? So this is where you come in, you add a gradient map, then you add the color correction and so on, right? So before you even do that, right, so far you all understand, huh? Keep it simple. Layout first, you want to pick, you can have multiple choices, right, before you do any sort of editing. So once you have the idea, you know this is between these two, this is much more sellable, the second board, right, as opposed to the first poster that you want to do. And the artboard is to give you an option. Hey, look, you've got 2 or 3 different you know setups, and you can work with it within that layer. Am I making sense? So it becomes, you don't need to open brand new file. So artboard is to help you, to give you like, I can work within one file, PSD file, which is a Photoshop file. Within that file I've got multiple setups or multiple documents. An artboard is like an art block, right? Like a page. Yeah. So this page I'm working with this style. The second one I'm working in this particular style. The third one I'm working with a different style, and so on. So if you don't want this, I can just hide this and kapush. I just save this, and this is still there. Am I making sense? Yeah. So this is for you to compare, and it's easier for you to compare, right? So if you hold your spacebar, you can just drag this and so on. Okay, so that is what the artboard is, and the purpose of an artboard. Okay, so here, if you're happy, now you go in, you can start adjusting. Okay, whether the image is going to go within this and so on. Okay, first and foremost, you want to see the color correction between these two, right? So here you can start adjusting. Number one, you want to use this image, so I can delete this. Bye bye. Okay, name this as PG pen. This one as the character or actor, right? This maybe FX. Okay, so you've got the title, you've got the footer, you've got everything here. Alright, so now you see the color between, or what kind of color that you want to add in. If it's confusing with 2 artboards, right, you just hide one and work with one. As simple as that, right? So you look at this, you go like, okay, cool. So I want this kind of colors that I want. Is this fine? Do I want to have it right in between, or do I want to paste this image inside the body, like superimposed previously that we did in our class? Right? You want to have like a car inside here, maybe a driver within this. I want to just have this image to be lighter and so on. Am I making sense? So you go in, you start doing all this other alteration. Okay, you want to see, does it work in this manner? I want to show this character is behind here, or I can even pick the silhouette of this character, and I can go in here and create a mask and drag this inside here. Now I got this. Can you see? You can have those kind of things, and you can start doing all kind of other alteration if you want to. Yeah, so you can come in here, you can make this bigger, okay, and then you can do with the mask selection. I can hit brush, go for a soft brush that I have, all right, or if you have any other brushes out there, you can say okay, the mask, go for a black, make it slightly bigger, maybe about 30%. So press 4 on the keyboard, 40%, and then you can just slowly reveal the ah, okay. So you can plan out like this. So it's cybernetic at the bottom here. See within this. Now character, there's something here. You can even unlock it here, and you can start editing it here. Right? You can bring the size. You can scale the size a little bit more smaller. Okay, drag this image wherever you want, so it kind of like sits nicely, something like that. Okay, so depending what and how do you want to work with, yeah. So same thing like that. Ta-da. So maybe this is what we want. Okay, then you got this. Then at the background, maybe you want to have another one. I'm going to go in, Control J if you want to, bam, and this time around you don't want the background or the mask to be edited, you want to have it as a background. You can make this or scale this bigger because you want to maintain those things. Okay, two different areas, a motel or something like this. Yeah, I just want to have a little bit of of this background at the back. It is going to be something like that. Okay, then you're gonna, oh, okay, cool, I got the colors sort of. Yeah, you can have this as a background. Now maybe I want to have a little bit of overlay. So what kind of overlay that you want to have, right? So what you can do is you can come here, you can bring in or select this tool, come into the effect here, go and look for lookup, right? Lookup, color lookup, and this one we can go in and change the colors. See, bypass, candlelight, da da da, this one, winter, and so on, and give a little different colors. You can even tap on this image here on the background copy, make sure it is convert to smart object, okay, and then add on a filter to this. Perhaps you want to have filter, oh sorry, image adjustment. This is where you can have hue and saturation, or you can even do a black and white. Yeah, change the black and white to something else. Okay, and adjust it. Okay, example, these are all examples. Okay, you can even do a copy of this and start doing all kind of other components. And this is where the effects comes in, right? See that the splats is a little bit. Okay, you can increase the clarity of the you know the character by itself, okay, by making it much more clearer. At this time about 0, small. Okay, little clarity. So everything is kind of like looking nice. Bam, bam, bam. You can even have another character within it, da, 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 and something like this. and then you start thinking of how do you want to edit further. Okay, you can even have another one more effect where you can have like a gradient, right? You can tap on the gradient, right? This gradient appears. So gradient somewhere here, or look for a gradient. Depends on what kind of gradient that suits best for the poster, right? Maybe something like this, like that, something like this, or something even more clearer with a better transparency. Tap on this, reduce opacity to 0, and you can see the color changes. If you want to have a different contrast to it, so it doesn't want to be blue, you want to have it something much more stronger, so maybe change the color to something reddish or brownish, perhaps orangish. Okay, something that suits. Okay, something about pinkish perhaps. Okay, say okay, and you're happy with this example, right? You have this, and then you can even go for an overlay of soft light. Yeah, you can have a soft light, so it kind of like pops the character. Okay, press escape, and you can start doing all kind of other stuff, right? So you want to have much more darker, and you can add further and further and further. Go in, you can have like a brightness and contrast, reduce the brightness, increase the contrast. Okay, something like this. You can even have, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, or surface blur, or Gaussian blur. See that? The moment you have blur, it becomes much more clearer. So this is what we call as um, depth of field. Okay, so okay. Now you have all this. So when it's on smart filter, you can always off this and remove this. Yeah, right? So effects, again, you can drag the effects further up how you want it to add in, adjust it accordingly, rotate it, splat it somewhere there. That's what we have. Okay, so the clarity is there. It's a little cybersonic, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Then you go in, you can adjust the colors of this character, and also you can add a little bit more. Right, so in here you can have a little bit of other components. For instance, if I take a pen tool, right, I can use a pen tool, do a little bit of additions. Okay, so this becomes a pen tool. Okay, now what I'll do is, for instance, if I want to have this as a selection, I'll just use a lasso tool, perhaps. One, two, three, quick one. Okay, so it becomes a selection. So now this selection, we can add a different highlight. So for instance, in here, you want it to be red or any other colors. Tap in and switch. Ta-da! It is there. Control D, and you can even have like a soft light, hard light, or screen. A screen normally is to give it a little bit more highlight. Yeah. So screen, yeah, something like this if you want to. Yeah. And then you can reduce the opacity. You can even have with another brush, like highlight on the center perhaps, or with a little white. You can have, I mean, use a pen if you can, if you have, highlight the edges, and all these components that you want to add in, you can start adding in. Okay, so those kind of things, right? Again, remember we wanted to do more stuff, right? So if let's say this is for the character, so you can group it. This is for the helmet, visor, da 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 da, and then you can look at different layers where you can have it as a soft light, and you can add, remember the dual light, you can play with that kind of light. Say for instance you want to have something bright here, some kind of like fuchsia-ish color or whatever not, right, or reddish or bluish color that is going to come in, you can start painting. Okay, with a bigger brush. Okay, about 30%. Add that. Okay, want it to be a little red. Okay, and you want to have a little green. Normally 3 colors are not more than that. Yeah, these are just a technique if you want to use it. And come on, done. Last but not least, yeah, for the text you can adjust the text, the fonts and so on. I'm just going to use this, the others you go by, you guys, you can use it on your own. Double click on this, you can have a glow. See that, the battle outer glow with a green, or perhaps the light from here is just casting on this maybe, and maybe a drop shadow. If you can see, if you don't see it, just don't bother with it. Yeah. Say okay, and then go back to the light, and you can have a little light that is hitting this character, and make it a little small, just very subtle, highlighted, little white, and at the side. Done. Poster is done. Okay, so the same manner is for the others. Again, you can do with all the other wonder stuff. The idea for today is just to show you, hey look, you can have all this. Yeah. You can use so many other components in here and work with. Okay, you can even drag in and drop in this fire at the back. Press enter. You can have it as a dust, little soft light, so that it's you know it is a little smoky. You can bring it at the back here, yeah. And so you can even have a different type of textures applied to it, and so on. So it is on you. How do you want to play with this? It is in your hands. Okay, so hopefully this is enough for you guys to work with, to kickstart your posters or bring it even further, right? Just play around with the composition first. More adjustments can be done as you go in, like effects, like some shines, something that you want to have in as a shine, like for instance another one now before we end. So say for instance I take this color, maybe a little, yeah, yellowish, right, 100% opacity. I'm just going to do this pen. Okay, see this, and then I am going to squash it, and I'm going to increase this, press enter, drag this and throw it. That becomes like a shine. Okay, that's a shine here. If you want more, you can have more. You can even have more stuff, like for instance you want to have on this actor, you can have like another blending option on this, like outer glow, yeah, or very thin, the size is super thin, like that, right? This is very amateur style, okay. But if you want better, you do a control J and bring this below, yeah, and change your level to white, okay, white or black. Okay. Now back this further and have it like a cutout like that. You see? And you can even have a Gaussian with it and use your arrow button to move it left and right and to push. This is to create that ring light. Why not? Okay, and save it. So that's the whole first step for the poster. Keep it as simple as this. That's about it, right? So have a look at all the other components, like you see from the references given. So please utilize those you know, resources if you have further, or you first identify what story that you want. Okay, then reuse those stories. Okay, from there you can build your own you know poster that is going to be right. I'm going to save this and I will upload this. Anyone, any questions? This is something cool as well. Of course, you have to change it. See that? It changes, it changes, it changes. Okay? Can? Anyone, any questions? Cool. So I'll share this. So hopefully you guys can start planning. Keep it very simple. You can have one or two characters. That's more than enough. Right? A single character, maybe you want to see it from his eyes or however you want to have it. Have fun with it. Hopefully, um, don't complicate too much. Yeah. All the samples are given. Be as creative and expressive that you can. Yeah. Enjoy. Right. So if there is no other questions, we'll then call it a day. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. I hope to see you guys. Right. That's it for today, guys. Bye bye. All right. Bye.